China's government has reportedly ordered its domestic airlines to stop accepting deliveries of Boeing jet. Boeing is being hit with its first worker strike in 16 years. Say a 25% increase across the board on tariffs. Tit for tat from both sides. It was not just a factory. It was not just a company. It was the symbol of everything America believed about itself. Strength, innovation, power. Boeing was the company that helped win World War II, that built the wings of American dominance, that launched astronauts into space and carried presidents across continents. And now it is leaving. The announcement landed like a thunderclap. Boeing confirmed it would shut down 5 major U.S. manufacturing facilities. Not scale back, not restructure. Shut down, gone. 14,000 American jobs vaporized overnight, and with them the last illusions of industrial security. Before we continue, hit that like button to help us beat the YouTube algorithm and to show your support. The fallout is national, from Everett, Washington to Charleston, South Carolina to St. Louis, Missouri. Entire communities are being gutted in real time. Schools tied to Boeing tax revenue are drafting emergency budgets. Local diners that serve Boeing shifts are preparing to close. Property values are plunging, and behind every shuttered gate is a family staring into a financial abyss. Mark in Everett is the third generation of Boeing workers in his family. His grandfather built B-17 bombers for the war effort. His father helped design the 747. And now Mark has to tell his own children that it ends with him. The American dream just collapsed on the factory floor. Sarah, an accountant at Boeing for 15 years, just closed on a new house. Her mortgage was based on a future she thought was guaranteed. Her health insurance, her pension, her family's entire stability, all tethered to a company she trusted. And now, silence. This is not just another factory closure. This is an American tragedy unfolding in real time. Boeing blamed the decision on one thing: tariffs. The very policies that were promised to bring jobs back home have become the reason America's flagship manufacturer is packing up and leaving. It is not political spin. It is in their own statement. The tariff structure has made it, quote, financially impossible to manufacture in the United States and remain globally competitive. Because tariffs are not magic, they are taxes. And when you place them on the very materials American manufacturers depend on, aluminum, titanium, rare earth elements, you are not just hurting your enemies, you are crippling your own. Boeing's supply chain has been battered for years. Raw materials cost up to 25% more than what European and Chinese rivals pay. Logistics delays have spiked, and now foreign buyers are cancelling orders. Why? Because American-made planes are too expensive. That is the punchline of the policy. American jobs lost because American products are now too costly thanks to American tariffs. For 3 years, Boeing executives warned this would happen. They testified before Congress. They begged for exceptions. They showed lawmakers the math, and no one listened. European carriers are turning to Airbus. Asian buyers are leaning toward China's Comarmac and Boeing. Boeing is shutting its doors. Before we continue, hit that subscribe button to show your support to the channel. But this is not just about Boeing's direct employees. For every job at Boeing, there are 4 more in the supply chain: machine shops in Ohio, software engineers in California, fabric weavers in Georgia. That is 70,000 lives hanging in the balance. And here is where the panic goes nuclear. Because Boeing does not just make commercial jets, it builds the backbone of the United States military, fighter jets, missile defense systems, surveillance aircraft, command and control infrastructure. The Pentagon relies on Boeing's domestic manufacturing not just for logistics, but for national security. So what happens when those capabilities are exported? Behind closed doors, U.S. defense officials are in crisis mode. One senior military advisor called it, quote, the most dangerous industrial collapse in modern history. Another warned that once this knowledge leaves American soil, it may never return. And it is not just about knowledge, it is about reliability. If Boeing, the crown jewel of American manufacturing, cannot make it here, who can? That is the question keeping Wall Street awake, because the moment Boeing pulled the plug, other boardrooms started calculating. General Electric, Lockheed Martin, Caterpillar. How long until they follow? Because Boeing just proved that loyalty has limits, that even the most patriotic company cannot afford to bleed indefinitely, and global rivals are celebrating. Chinese state media immediately declared this the death knell of US manufacturing dominance. European officials are already calling Boeing suppliers, offering tax breaks to relocate across the Atlantic. Mexico and Vietnam are reportedly fast-tracking industrial permits for Boeing's new overseas hubs. This is not a retreat. It is a realignment of power in Everett. The mayor called an emergency town hall. This is not speculation. It is happening. James Miller, a 28-year Boeing veteran, told local reporters, "I am 57. My retirement, my kids' tuition, my health, it was all tied to this company. Now I have nothing. Multiply that by 14,000. Multiply that by 4 supply chain jobs per worker. Multiply that by entire zip codes built around Boeing's gravity. And understand this collapse was not inevitable. It was engineered because politicians wanted headlines. They wanted to protect American industry without understanding how modern industry works. They passed tariffs without industrial strategy. They punished imports without securing supply chains. And they expected patriotism to plug the hole where profit should be. But Boeing is a business, and now it is gone. Universities that once funneled talent into Boeing are getting calls from students asking if they should change majors. Aerospace departments are losing sponsors. Apprenticeship programs are shutting down. A whole generation of future engineers is being told to look elsewhere. Innovation once cultivated in places like Seattle is being outsourced in real time. The company has already begun scouting new global sites. It does not even matter where, because the point is clear: it is not America. And investors, they are unfazed. After a brief drop, Boeing's stock rebounded. Wall Street sees it for what it is: a cold, hard business decision. Without the drag of US manufacturing costs, the company might even become more profitable. Let that sink in. Wall Street believes Boeing's future is brighter without America. What does that say about the state of American manufacturing? What does it say about a nation that once prided itself on building the best, now outsourcing the very soul of its industrial base? Banks are rebalancing their portfolios. Insurers are adjusting risk models. Investment funds are pulling capital from US industrial zones. The ripple effect is systemic. And it is not just economic, it is social. Communities are breaking apart. Union halls are erupting. Neighbors are turning on neighbors. Some blame the company, others blame the tariffs. But everyone feels betrayed. Mental health hotlines are seeing record calls. Real estate listings are flooding in. Families are having impossible conversations over kitchen tables. Do we sell now, move, start over? But go where? These are not statistics. These are the human costs of failed policy. And the worst part is this: it was predictable. Economists warned about unilateral tariffs without a coordinated industrial plan. Boeing testified again and again, but politics won. And now America is losing. So what now? Emergency meetings are underway in Washington. Lawmakers who cheered the tariffs are begging Boeing to reconsider. Incentive packages are being thrown together in desperation. But Boeing says the math is final. One executive told Congress bluntly, "For every plane we build in America, we lose money. Loyalty cannot cover those losses." And this is the future, not just for Boeing, but for every manufacturer asking the same question: can we afford to stay in America? Because when loyalty meets bankruptcy, loyalty loses. And unless something changes, unless this becomes the wake-up call we so desperately need, Boeing will be the first domino, not the last. This is not just about airplanes. It is about who we are, who we were, and who we are becoming. And if Boeing can no longer build in America, then what is left to protect?